The media, those hardcore journalists over there in the media, celebrating Vice President Kamala Harris's DNC speech, even though she avoided issues and simply focused on the vibes.
You will remember where you were when you heard this speech tonight from the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. This is an inflection point in history.
She has this magical, charismatic quality in person. That was fierce and fearless, how she just delivered that.
Yeah.
Party poopers, no. We legalize fun. We legalize fun. We put the party back in the Democratic Party.
As the 2024 presidential election approached, the political landscape was charged with anticipation and scrutiny. At the heart of this intense atmosphere was Fox News correspondent Peter Doocy, known for his pointed questions and relentless pursuit of answers. His target, Vice President Kamala Harris, now the Democratic nominee for president. The media's glowing reception of Harris's DNC speech set the stage for a contentious period of campaigning. While some journalists praised her charisma and delivery, others, like Doocy, sought to dig deeper into her policies and past statements. Doocy's efforts to secure an interview with Harris became a recurring theme in his reports. After her DNC speech, he made a direct attempt.
Madam Vice President, congratulations. Are you ready for your Fox News interview?
The question went unanswered, highlighting a growing concern about Harris's accessibility to the media, particularly outlets perceived as less friendly to her campaign. This reluctance to engage with certain media outlets became a point of contention, as Doocy reported.
The Chicago White Sox will win the World Series before you see Kamala Harris doing any interview on Fox. You will not see one press conference from her in the next 75 days until Election Day. Think of it this way. For the last 5.5 years, when she ran for president in 2019 before she dropped out as vice president and now as the nominee, she's not held one press conference. And she will never, ever do that because still, to this day, her handlers are petrified to put her in front of Rachel Maddow or The View or even somebody like Gayle King, a pretend journalist, because they know that she can't speak extemporaneously.
As the campaign progressed, Doocy focused on uncovering Harris's positions on key issues, particularly those related to immigration and law enforcement. He highlighted a questionnaire from 2019 that revealed some of Harris's more progressive stances.
Vice President Harris has some explaining to do if President Trump decides to go there. For example, there is this new questionnaire that she filled out in 2019 where she talks about how she wants gender transition surgeries for migrants. The exact quote is, "I support policies ensuring that federal prisoners and detainees are able to obtain medically necessary care for gender transition, including surgical care while incarcerated or detained." And then there's funding cuts to ICE. Also in 2019, Harris wrote, "Our immigration detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE."
These past statements raised questions about Harris's current positions and how they might have evolved since joining the Biden administration. As the first presidential debate approached, Doocy reported on the intense preparations underway in the Harris campaign.
The Harris-Trump stand-in the last couple days at debate camp, Philippe Reines, watched old Trump debates with the sound off to get Trump's mannerisms down. And now in the mock debates, he is dressing like Trump as well, according to the New York Times. And they're practicing with these rules: muted microphones, no live studio audience, only a pen, a paper, and water on stage, no pre-written notes. The answers are 2 minutes, the rebuttals are 2 minutes, and the follow-ups are 1 minute.
The debate rules, particularly the muted microphones, presented a unique challenge for Harris's team.
According to Politico, the whole entire Harris debate strategy hinged on being able to fact-check him in real time. And when they have the mics muted, she's not going to be able to do that. So in Pittsburgh, they've apparently been trying to figure out how exactly she is supposed to debate when she cannot be jumping in.
Fox's reporting also touched on concerns about media bias in the coverage of the candidates. One thing that was cited was a Media Research Center report that highlighted discrepancies in the tone of coverage.
Peter, the Media Research Center is saying that David Moore's coverage on ABC of these two candidates, the coverage of Kamala Harris has been 100% positive, and of Donald Trump, 93% negative.
This raised questions about the fairness of the upcoming debate and how it might be moderated. As the debate drew near, Doocy emphasized its significance, particularly given Harris's limited media appearances.
But, you know, there is such high risk but high reward on this particular event because there was one interview 10 days ago. It was kind of a, and now there's going to be one debate that we know of.
He quoted an opinion piece that underscored the importance of the debate.
He says, on Tuesday night, that's tonight, at the National Constitution Center in Philly, Ms. Harris and Mr. Trump will have at it for 90 minutes. Ironically, the low expectations for Ms. Harris may be an advantage. All she has to do is not humiliate herself, and her performance will be hailed as a triumph. If the press corps did its job, we'd all know more about what we need to know about Kamala Harris and what kind of president she'd make. But because it won't, it's all on Donald Trump to do that job himself.
Doocy's reporting on Harris took place against a backdrop of intense political maneuvering and heightened rhetoric. He highlighted the Biden administration's characterization of Trump as a threat.
The rhetoric in American politics right now on both sides is hot. It's hot. But in particular, the White House, this White House, the president, the vice president, and even the press secretary have referred to Donald Trump as a threat to democracy.
This language became a point of contention, especially in light of security concerns.
How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
The response from the White House press secretary only served to intensify the debate.
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question, the question that you're asking. It is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it because American people are watching.
As the election drew closer, Doocy reported on the internal dynamics of the Harris campaign, noting the emergence of leaks.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us now.
Hey, watch it.
Good morning, and we're seeing now what happens when a candidate, in this case Kamala Harris, is not surrounded by a team of longtime loyalists, and that is leaks start to come out. This is something we almost never saw from candidate Biden or President Biden, but now there's an Axios item with the title, Inside the Tension in the Harris Frankenstein Team.
The leaks revealed internal struggles within the campaign.
And the problem appears to be that Obama-era operatives have been jammed into an office in Wilmington full of Biden people, and nobody knows who is really doing what. The story says, quote, the entanglement of these different entities has led to many people feeling a real lack of role clarity, and the source is one person involved in the campaign.
As the campaign entered its final weeks, Doocy's reporting highlighted the contrast between the active campaigning of Harris and the winding down of Biden's presidency.
We saw President Biden on the beach in Delaware for hours yesterday. There is very, very little going on here, and a very well-placed source who works inside told me that the general feeling among staff right now is one of senioritis.
This senioritis in the White House stood in stark contrast to the high-stakes nature of the upcoming debate and the election itself. Peter Doocy's pursuit of answers from Kamala Harris and his reporting on the campaign highlighted the challenges and complexities of the 2024 presidential race. From unanswered questions about past policy positions to concerns about media access and potential bias, Doocy's work underscored the vital role of journalism in the democratic process. As the debate approached, the questions he raised remained at the forefront of public discourse, challenging both candidates to address the issues that matter most to the American people. The outcome of this high-stakes confrontation would likely shape the final weeks of the campaign and potentially the future of the nation. In the end, Doocy's persistent questioning and reporting served as a reminder of the importance of holding public figures accountable, regardless of their political affiliation. As the election drew near, the American people looked to journalists like Doocy to help them navigate the complex landscape of promises, policies, and political maneuvering that would ultimately determine the course of the country for years to come.